Yo. What up? This your boy Mufasa again with another chaotic news flash. And today, who is Luigi Mangione? That's right, the United Healthcare CEO killer. Who is this guy? Who exactly is he? And we gonna get right into it. So, as you know how we do, we jumping right into the fire just to find out from CBS exactly who is Luigi Mangione. And off the rip, we just gonna use this CBS News article and just find out a little bit about the suspect in charge here. One thing we know about him is he waived extradition to New York to face new federal charges. Mangione waived extradition to New York in a Pennsylvania courtroom on Thursday, December 19th, where New York City police detectives were waiting to accompany him back for an afternoon appearance in a Manhattan courtroom. Federal prosecutors also filed four new charges against Mangione: murder, using a weapon with a silencer, and two counts of stalking, in addition to the 11 state filed charges by Manhattan District Attorney. The federal charges could make him eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Wow. All right. So that's taking a look at his charges. All right. He was charged with murder in New York. All right. Mangione was indicted on a charge of murder in the first degree in furtherance of terrorism, Manhattan prosecutors announced December 17th. He was also charged with two counts of murder in the second degree, with one of the counts accusing Mangione of killing as an act of terrorism. First degree murder charges in New York are usually reserved for the killing of law enforcement officers. Mangione was also charged with several lesser felonies in New York, including criminal possession of a weapon. A spokesperson for District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office told CBS News that Mangione's arraignment on the 11 charges will be Monday, December 23rd. Police say the suspect mother said shooting might be something that she could see him doing. Speaking to reporters on December 17th, NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kinney said that before Mangione's arrest, his mother told an FBI task force that the shooting might be something that she could see him doing. The task force contacted Mangione's mother on December 7th after a San Francisco police sergeant looking for Mangione alerted the FBI in San Francisco that the person of interest in the shooting could be him. Kinney told reporters Mangione's mothers had filed a missing report with San Francisco police on November 18th. The FBI's San Francisco field office passed the information on to the task force in New York. He also wasn't a United Healthcare customer. The New York Police Department told CBS News that there are no indication that Mangione was a United Healthcare customer. Officials believe Mangione may have targeted the company because of its status as the largest health insurer in the United States. All right. He may have traveled to Pennsylvania by train, and we all know he kind of got away, right? After he shot the CEO, he got away. So, following the shooting, investigators have said that the suspect fled into Central Park on a bike and then took a cab to the George Washington Bridge bus station in Upper Manhattan. While investigators initially thought the suspect may have left New York City on a bus that departed from the bus station, NYPD Assistant Commissioner Carlos Nieves told CBS New York on December 12th they now believe the suspect took a subway line back down to Penn Station in Midtown, where they are looking into whether he traveled by train to Pennsylvania. The NYPD was working with Pennsylvania State Police and Altoona Police to track Mangione's movements while he was in Pennsylvania. All right. His fingerprints match near the shooting scene, police say. Fingerprints found on a water bottle and protein bar near where Thompson was killed matched the fingerprints taken from Mangione when he was booked in the jail. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said on December 11th. So, hey, they found the fingerprints. They found the fingerprints. All right, now, last but not least, I'm going to get into is what do the police believe was the motive? Investigators work in theory for the motive behind the shooting is animosity toward the healthcare industry. The NYPD said it appears Mangione suffered a debilitating back injury on July 4th, 2023, that required a visit to an emergency room and subsequently screws on his spine, according to images posted on social media. According to NYPD, Mangione was in possession of a notebook paper that had handwritten notes that expressed disdain for corporate America, in particularly the healthcare industry. All right. And then later you see they caught him at a McDonald's. He had a little mask on, taking mask off, right? You know, Mangione, who is this guy? Who is this guy? You know, also, look, can't let you get, I can't let them get by with letting you know this one thing about a gun, right? All right. Officers found a gun and a suppressor that were consistent with the weapon used in the shooting of Thompson, Tisch said. Police said the gun found in his backpack appeared to be 3D printed. A ghost gun. A 3D printed ghost gun with a loaded Glock magazine with 6 9mm full metal jacket rounds and a 3D printed silencer. Yeah, that's impressive. The 3D printed one, right? Clothing and a mask consistent with those of the suspect in the case were also recovered. All right. So he was charged with 5 counts in Pennsylvania, got 11 in New York. Yeah, this is a big thing, man. This is a big thing. Of course, he has no bail or anything like that. So, you know, one thing, like you said, you see when they arrested him, one thing I like to say, who is this Luigi guy? Who was he? So one thing I wanted to skip to was kind of what he did in life. All right. What he did in life. And one thing about it, I want to highlight his family. All right. One thing about it, he's related to a prominent Maryland family. Mangione was born and raised in Maryland. He is related to a prominent Maryland family that owns country clubs, healthcare facilities, and real estate companies, CBS News Baltimore reported. He's also a cousin of Maryland State Delegate Nino Mangione, who represents parts of Baltimore County. Isn't that impressive? Mangione paternal grandparents, Nicholas and Mary Mangione, were real estate developers who purchased Turf Valley Country Club in 1978 and Hayesfield Country Club in Hunts Valley in 1986. They founded Lorien Health Systems in 1977 and operated WCBM, a Baltimore radio station. Come from a good family. Mangione's family said December 9th in the statement, unfortunately, we cannot comment on news reporting Luigi Mangione. We only know what we have read in the media. Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest. We offer our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people to pray for all involved. We are devastated by this news. Mangione graduated in 2016 from the Gilman School, an all-boys private school in Baltimore. According to his LinkedIn account, he was the school's valedictorian and captain its robotics team. He also received a scholarship prize in 2014. He volunteered at Lorient Health Systems in 2014, according to LinkedIn. But that's his family business. A former classmate who wishes to remain anonymous out of respect for the Mangione family and said he met Mangione in middle school and remained close with him throughout high school. He told CBS that Mangione, a good guy who didn't have any enemies. The former classmate said the two lost touch after high school, but said they felt sympathetic when they heard Mangione was a person of interest in the shoot. I don't think he's a crazy person, the former classmate said. I hope there's a public trial and he gets his chance to explain how all this happened in court. All right. Now, that's all I read of that right there. One thing about this guy, Luigi Mangione. What about this guy? What's the big deal about this guy? Who in the world is he? I explained a little bit who he was. And one thing that it did mention was that he was the valedictorian of his class.
And by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition. Having great ideas, however, isn't enough to innovate. The class of 2016's inventiveness also stems from its incredible courage to explore the unknown and try new things. Just like we've done these past few years, we'll be exploring the unknown, whether that be attending colleges across the country, traveling the world during gap years, or fulfilling military service in foreign countries.
Now that was in 2016, his valedictorian speech at his all-boys private school in Baltimore. Don't get it twisted. This was an intelligent, very intelligent young man here that we're talking about. All right. But he had a little disdain for the healthcare industry. And guess what? This becomes a political issue because there is some disdain for the healthcare industry. And maybe some people might think this is the guy to take up their issue. But if you do, it pretty much lets you know what it'll get you. It'll get you in some deep trouble. But Mr. Mangione, even though he killed somebody, he murdered somebody in cold blood, he's getting treated better than most. What do you mean by that? Mufasa, what are you talking about? Let you see. He's getting treated better than most.
Defendant in recent memory that received a personal welcome from the mayor of the city of New York upon arrival. It's been an extraordinarily fast-moving day of developments. Luigi Mangione woke up at a state prison in Pennsylvania, was brought to court in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, near Altoona, waived extradition, and was whisked onto a plane that the NYPD was piloting. The plane landed on Long Island, and then he was taken by helicopter to the Wall Street landing zone, where he was greeted by the mayor and the police commissioner. I can't think of another criminal defendant in recent memory that received a personal welcome from the mayor of the city of New York upon arrival. He was then transferred into federal custody. He's now being processed at the FBI building, and he'll be brought here to federal court for his initial appearance on a 4-count criminal complaint charging him with stalking, with murder through the use of a firearm, and another firearm offense. The feds clearly want to send a message. Then perhaps he'll be charged and prosecuted on the state indictment. We knew that the authorities had seized writings from Luigi Mangione, and they've been described to us. But now we see specific excerpts in this federal complaint that's just been unsealed. The complaint says these handwritten pages express hostility towards the health insurance industry and wealthy executives in particular.
Well, as you see, he's now been extradited back to New York, back to Manhattan, that we was talking about earlier, and he's looking at a lot of charges, 11 to be exact, of what he's looking at. All right. So, yeah, but as you see, he got a personal greeting from the mayor and the state prosecutor. They're gonna make sure his ass fries and burn for this. Okay. I think you need to understand that, but we understand this is more like a political issue. And what I mean by that, there's people on both sides of the issue, even though it should never be people on both sides of a man losing his life. This man had a family. The CEO of United Healthcare, he had a family. He's a father. He's a husband. But we know that a lot of people are going to make this a political back and forth. All right. So as you see, there are protests outside of the courthouse in Manhattan, chanting "Free Luigi, Free Luigi." Now, whatever you think about him, like I said, that's why I say they're going to make it a political issue. They're going to try to make it a political issue, even though he shot and killed this man in cold blood, as we see, not only with a 3D printed gun, 3D printer silencer, and yeah, he planned it out premeditated. So he's going to have to pay for that, and he should pay for that. But as we see, you see some people have turned it political, right? They've turned it political, which is to be expected in a high-profile case such as this. It's really to be expected. We understand how this goes, especially when Mangione has done something like this. You know, this has repercussions other than just a murder case. Now, I'm asking, are CEOs even safe? How are we going to protect these guys from walking in and around New York, Manhattan, the stock market, where these guys perform business and day-to-day tasks? How are we to keep them safe? You know, no telling. You know, but what we going, like I said, I guess they're going to give it a go and see what they can do. But until then, these guys might be out in the open. But as we just recently, as we see, I don't think the CEOs of the healthcare industry, they don't plan on letting this guy scare them at all.
The first degree on murder as a crime of terrorism. The indictment says the United Healthcare executive Brian Thompson was killed in furtherance of an act of terrorism intended to intimidate or coerce the civilian population. In making the announcement, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch denounced the wave of support for Mangione across America.
The New York Post reported that some extreme activists were circulating a deck of cards with other most wanted CEOs to be targeted for assassination. These are the threats of a lawless, violent mob.
Police also revealed what Luigi Mangione's mother had to say when they reached out to her 2 days before he was captured.
She said it might be something that she could see him doing.
The indictment came down as America's top CEOs were gathering for a summit meeting right by the location where the CEO was assassinated. The conference, organized by Yale University's Business School, is being held at the legendary Ziegfeld Theater next to the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. The Yale CEO Summit is held twice a year and normally doesn't make any headlines, but this year it's being held amid tight security. Some of the CEOs are staying at the same hotel that Brian Thompson stayed at, and they'll enter the conference venue just across the street from where he was assassinated. I spoke with security expert Mike Zimmett about how the executives are being protected from potential copycat assassins.
It's a good idea if you're using metal detectors that it's in a tent shielded from public view.
Right, like this.
Like this, exactly. Just like when a president arrives, a president always arrives inside a tent to cover him. Nobody sees him arriving.
Yeah.
You can't shoot at what you can't see.
Now, as you see these guys, hey, now they're taking on more of a approach of protection. They're taking an aggressive approach to, hey, get these guys where you can't see them as much, where they're not out in the open, and see if that works, right? Let's see how that holds up. Let's see how that holds up. And hey, in the end of the day, hey, maybe it will, maybe it ain't. But Luigi Mangione, yeah, you going down, my boy. You going down, you getting up out of here. And yeah. You getting that penalty. Don't even ask no questions, boy. Don't even ask no questions. But at the end of the day, look, your boy Mufasa come to tell you up out of here. Hey man, get your ass up out of here, man. I done told you what I gotta tell you.
Come on. Back up a taste? Just a taste. Just give me some room. Hey. Okay, the door's gonna slam about now.